Space is no longer a peaceful frontier. What once symbolized exploration, satellites, and global communication has now transformed into the next great battlefield. The United States and China are racing to dominate low Earth orbit, lunar space, and beyond. With the establishment of the U.S. Space Force in 2019 and China's rapidly advancing Space Command, both superpowers are moving military assets beyond Earth's atmosphere. This fight isn't about who reaches Mars first. It's about who can control reconnaissance, GPS, communications, hypersonic defense, and anti-satellite warfare from above. The stakes are strategic, economic, and existential. The nation that wins space dominance will control the flow of information and security on Earth. For decades, the U.S. military handled space operations primarily through the Air Force, but as adversaries developed satellite targeting weapons and orbital surveillance systems, it became clear that space could no longer be treated as a support domain. The U.S. Space Force was officially launched in late 2019 as the first new American military branch in over 70 years. Designed to protect American satellites, track enemy assets, and ensure command superiority in space, the Space Force immediately began inheriting thousands of personnel, dozens of spacecraft, and dozens of ground-based tracking facilities. Its mission is crystal clear: ensure that no hostile power can blind or cripple the U.S. military by targeting its orbital infrastructure. China saw the rise of the U.S. Space Force as both a challenge and a validation. Beijing had already established the Strategic Support Force, SSF, in 2015, combining cyber, electronic warfare, and space operations under one integrated command. In recent years, China has moved to centralize space militarization even further, granting its Space Command increasing control over satellites, counter-space weapons, rocket programs, and deep space exploration. With military-run spaceports, new rocket families like Long March, and powerful surveillance satellites, China is closing the gap quickly. Beijing's military doctrine now openly embraces the idea that whoever controls space controls Earth. Modern war depends on orbital eyes and ears. The U.S. operates more military satellites than any nation in history, covering missile warning systems, GPS navigation, encrypted communications, and global surveillance. China, though behind in numbers, is catching up with constellations designed to track naval movements, guide precision weapons, and support long-range missile locking. Both countries are now working on mega constellations, fleets of hundreds of small satellites that are harder to shoot down and faster to replace. In the next decade, it won't just be who has the most satellites, it will be who can protect them, hide them, and rapidly redeploy them during conflict. The militarization of space becomes most obvious when looking at anti-satellite weapons, or ASATs. The U.S. has already demonstrated the ability to shoot down satellites using missile interceptors, while China shocked the world in 2007 when it destroyed one of its own satellites, scattering debris across orbit. Today, both nations possess direct ascent missiles designed to take out enemy satellites from the ground. They're also developing co-orbital systems, satellites that can maneuver close to enemy spacecraft, jam signals, or even physically disable them using robotic arms or directed energy devices. Blinding an enemy's GPS, communications link, or missile warning satellite for even a few minutes could change the course of a war. Both countries are investing heavily in space-based jamming, cyber interference, and laser systems. The U.S. has ground-based laser programs focused on dazzling or disabling enemy sensors. China is working on mobile laser vehicles designed to target low-orbiting satellites. Electronic warfare in space is just as dangerous as kinetic strikes. Instead of destroying a satellite, these weapons can disrupt signals, corrupt data, or cause miscommunication between aircraft, fleets, and command centers. In the age of digital warfare, domination doesn't always mean destruction. It means control of the invisible spectrum. Cyber attacks in orbit are a growing fear. Instead of launching missiles, a nation can hack a satellite, override its software, feed false data, or shut it down entirely. The U.S. Space Force has dedicated cybersecurity teams defending satellite command links, while China has built cyber divisions inside its strategic support force to conduct digital warfare in space and on the ground. A single compromised satellite could cripple battlefield communications, disrupt banking networks, or impact civilian infrastructure. Space is no longer only about hardware. It's software, encryption, and constant digital defense. Private companies are becoming essential players in space militarization. SpaceX provides U.S. military launches and satellite networks that support secure communications. Starlink has already proven its strategic value in Ukraine by sustaining wartime internet access after ground systems failed. China is responding with its own private sector partnerships, planning satellite mega-constellations, military launch capabilities, and even reusable spacecraft through companies backed by the state. The new space race isn't just government versus government, it's industries competing for orbital dominance alongside their nations. Treaties like the 1967 Outer Space Treaty prohibit weapons of mass destruction in space, but the language is vague and outdated. There is no clear ban on conventional weaponization, anti-satellite missiles, or weaponized drones in orbit. Both the United States and China publicly claim to support peaceful use of space while quietly building the infrastructure to fight from it. With no global enforcement mechanism, the only real law in space may soon be power projection. The U.S. currently leads in advanced satellite networks, deep space tracking, reusable launch systems, and precision orbital warfare capability. But China is closing the gap faster than anyone expected. It launches more rockets annually than the U.S., has tested robotic rendezvous in orbit, and continues to expand its ground-based anti-space arsenal. While America has the most experience, China has the momentum and centralized strategy to overtake key areas within a decade. The battle is no longer theoretical. It has already started in silence. Whoever dominates space will dominate every battlefield on Earth. This isn't about Hollywood, lasers, or sci-fi starships. It's about surveillance supremacy, communication control, missile defense, and the ability to disrupt the enemy before the first shot is fired on land or sea. The U.S. Space Force and China's Space Command are locked in a new Cold War above the atmosphere. The outcome will shape global power for the next century. The race isn't to reach the stars. It's to control the void. If you want more deep cinematic breakdowns of future warfare and the weaponization of space, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, who do you think will win the first true space conflict, the U.S. Space Force or China's Space Command? Your answer might decide the topic of the next episode.